Hello and welcome to Technique Tuesday. My name is Sharon Rogers and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wells, Maine. And every second and fourth Tuesday, I like to bring you an online class. The second Tuesday of the month focuses on techniques. And tonight, we're especially focusing on techniques that you can use with the two-tone cardstock that Stampin' Up! Now carries in 53 colors. Let's get started. I'm going to begin with two colors of two-tone cardstock. Cloud Cover, and you can see the light and the dark here, and Secret Sea, the light and the dark. And so I thought, like, I put these together, it looks like different depths in the ocean. So I thought I'd play with that a little bit. Now, I'm going to just use these two smaller pieces here. And I'm going to do some tearing. Now, two-tone cardstock has a white core center, which you may or may not be able to see right here, but you'll see in a second when I tear it. And I have a card base here, a basic white, and I'm just gonna tear it. Now, when you tear, the piece that you want to keep is the piece you hold, and the other part is how you tear. So I'm lifting this other part over here, and you can see that white piece now that I've got there, right? Now, if I flip it over, look, you can also see the lighter one and its torn edge. So if you tear toward you, the piece that you're not tearing will have a white edge, and the flip side will not. So you can choose not to have the white edge showing. It just depends on which side you're showing or which side you're going to flip on. I will adhere this down. Well, I don't want to adhere this down yet because that's going to go last. And I'm going to put this one in here, but I'm going to be building. So you know what? I might even want a little bit of a larger piece here. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna tear a little bit larger. Right, so I've got a little bit more down there showing. That might be a little bit too much. All right, so there we have something that looks like that. And I've got my light edge right here. I'm just gonna clean up the opposite side a bit. I want to have enough so I can tuck this underneath. All right, so it's going to look like that. Then I'm going to do the same thing with this piece. Now I want the dark one to come next, so I'm going to hold this and I'm going to tear the opposite side. So I have that. Looks just like that. So I've got my little oceany waves showing, right? And then this top part, I'm going to be doing a little bit something different with, and this is the lightest part. I'm going to bring in along these lines stamp set, and I'm going to bring in the dolphin. And let's see, here's my little dolphin here. We just need a block. I'll stamp in Secret Sea. And I'm going to stamp right along the top here. Then there's another stamp in here that is a long line. So it just continues that line right there. Let's go ahead and put that on a block and we'll just continue the line right across. There we go. And I'm going to take my scissors this time because I don't want the white edge. I mean, I suppose I could have the white edge, and if I just am very careful with how I'm tearing, I can get that. But the other way you can do it is you can just cut around here and then you won't have the white edge. So here you see, you're not really going to see the white edge anyway because it's right next to the basic white cardstock. So I think I'm gonna, I mean, you can do it. You saw me do it, but I think I like this just a little bit better. So now we're gonna build this, and I just have to have an idea of where my pieces join. So what you can do is you can start at the bottom as long as you only glue the bottom. And I cut this so that there would be a uniform border here. This original piece was 4 by 5 1/4. Now, because I only glued the bottom, I can tuck this under here. So again, I'm just gonna adhere the bottom here and stick that right under. So I have that. And now that that's stuck down, I'm gonna go back in here and put just a little bit more glue in here, just to have that stay down. All right. That's pretty, just like that. You put a couple seagulls in here, you're good to go. Now let's go ahead and add this next dark color. Bottom only. And let's see, I want to put it down a little bit further. There we go. So my layers aren't the same width, which, you know, if you've ever seen the ocean waves, they kind of come and go in different places too. So this middle one now, that needs to be glued a little bit further on. And if you can put the glue on the top if you want, you just have to know where you're gluing, that's all. Okay, so there we have that. And our last piece, now we don't need that much, so we're going to trim off a little bit of this. We're going to be able to tuck that right in there. Oh, I stamped on the wrong side. Ah, I stamped on the wrong side. I wanted to do the light side. Well, we're going to have to stamp again, aren't we? Stamp again. And we just put this right up at the top. I don't even, oh, look at that. Ooh. Ooh, boy, that's a good one. That's gonna last till my shower tomorrow. I'm gonna trim very closely. I'm even gonna trim the line off. And then just cut right on over here. And so now if I put this guy under here, you're gonna have this look right here. I think I need to cut a little bit more because it almost looks like he's got a big nose. Okay, so now we're going to put this on the bottom. And so we've now built kind of an ocean view type of card. We can put a little bit more glue on this other layer that's right here. And you really only have to do it on the edges. Oh, my glue's not coming out. Hold on, there we go. Just to glue those down a little bit. Just right in here. Come on, glue. Looks like a new bottle is due. And there we go. All we need to do is put a little sentiment up at the top. And with just two pieces, we have 4 different tones going on in that card. Perfect for a summer day in Maine. All right, let's bring in a set of words here. I'm going to bring in the right words, and I'm just going to use happy birthday. I think the nice blue tones in this lend itself to a nice masculine card. So we're just going to stamp happy birthday right up here. And there we have a very simple card, but really pretty colors, don't you think? All right, besides tearing and using just, 2 different colors of cardstock at once, you can, because this is much thinner, you can also crumple it. So you're really distressing it when you're doing this. And some of the edges might crack and break, and that's okay. And remember, you're going to have 2 sides that you can use here. So I'm just going to really crinkle it really well. This gives a really good distressed look. All right. And then when you fold it back out, you can see that you've got all this beautiful texture. Now, I'm going to flatten this out as much as possible. Try not to rip it any more than possible too. And you can see you've got 2 sides here. You've got the light and the dark. Now, one of the things that you can do, and this is going to get messy because this ink pad is super saturated. Because it's so saturated, I'm just going to do this with a block to show you something flat. If you rub something flat with ink over the top, some of the pieces will grab that ink and add to the distressed look. It just adds, it picks up that texture a lot more. You could do this with a blending brush, but it's probably not going to work as well as if something that is very flat. So we've got that look. But another thing that we can do, and you can see there was so much ink that it kind of went through the other side. Let me get this clean. Another thing that you can do, and this is closely related to the technique that I'm going to do in a little bit, is you can take a sanding block. Now, I usually just try to go in one direction. I don't try to do this much because it can tend to rip things, and especially if something's already ripped. But you can just keep sanding this, and those high spots of the crinkles will show through. And so it almost is a little bit of a watery look, I think. All right, so we have that. Now let's make a card out of this. I'm going to bring in another piece of, this was a piece that kind of came off here originally. It was left over from my 4x6. So I'm going to, it was really like 8x6. I'm going to go ahead and trim this down a little bit. So this is 4 1/4 inches wide. I don't know what it started as originally. I just cut it. I cut this to be the same size roughly as a card base. But if you want to save your DSP and make it only 4 inches wide so you can get more because you can get 3 4-inch strips, then just cut your card base down to a 4 by 5 1/4 card base instead of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It all works. So this is 4 1/4 and this is 2 1/2. So let's just just cut this down a little bit. I just want to get a nice proportion here. See, I'm going to go and put the darker side on the top here. That's going to be really, really pretty. Now, when you're adhering this to a card base, it's going to take a little bit of extra glue. All right, so when I put this on here, it's just about the same size, but because we've crinkled it, you may find that it's just ever so slightly smaller. That's going to be okay. It will look just fine if anybody even really notices it. As long as you try to get it centered, it will look like an intentional layer, which it is. I'm just going to put a little bit more glue around, especially around that little tear there. Put a bunch over here. And I'm going to work to get this as centered and on here as possible. Just takes a little bit of working, and that glue is staying liquid just long enough so that we can work with it. All right, so that's pretty good right there. So see, look at all that texture. It's almost like you're looking through water. So I bet this would be really, really pretty in the summer splash or the pool party, coastal cabana, all those. So here we have this piece that we're going to add in now. And that's going to get popped up on dimensionals. But first, let's figure out what we're going to do on this. All right, I have two pieces of what looks to be different cardstock, but it is the same two-tone cardstock. And the color is Summer Splash. I'm going to take this little, I don't know, leafy dye. This is from the lavender, the perennial lavender dyes. The perennial lavender stamp set and dies are both on the last chance list. Lots of good stuff on that last chance list. If you haven't checked it out in a while, you should. Let's see, here we go. We put these down. And because this is thinner cardstock, we can go ahead and cut them both at once. Another plus for the weight of the two-tone cardstock. All right. There's one. Let's get the other one out here. There we go. Get this out. And so we can just bring this in here. And this, again, would make a really just a great masculine card, just because it's, and see, you can have two the same size, same color, or you can just have a slight variation. Maybe I'll put the lighter one in the back. Let's see how that one looks in the back. And then the darker one in the front. Yep. And then we'll just put a little sentiment across there, and that'll be great. So what we should have done is probably put some adhesive sheet on the back of this, but it would have made it thicker and a little bit harder to cut probably. Just gonna put a little bit of this down. Oh, that's gonna be the foreground one. Just put a little bit here, a little bit there. Let's go there. Let's go here. There we go. Let's get a sentiment. Let's go ahead and get out that sentiment we had for the first card. Because who doesn't need happy birthday cards? Need them all the time. It's the most frequently sent card, I think. Let's see, I think we can get this on here. I'm gonna go with Secret C again. Ooh, do I want Secret C? Or do I wanna put it, let's try it in Secret C. It might look better in Summer Splash, but let's try it in Secret C. This is just a 1/2-inch piece of basic white. Wow, that's pretty straight stamping considering. Let's just angle cut that at the end. Let's see, and how do I want to put this on here? Do I want to do it just like that? Or do I want to bring it over here? No, I don't like that. Let's just do that, I guess. I'm just gonna, not even gonna put that down on dimensional because I think I'm gonna put that whole blue piece down on dimensional. Blue, there, it's all blue, isn't it? So there we have that. Let's see, I'm gonna bring in these gems, also last chance list. And these little ones in here in particular look like Summer Sea to me. I'm just gonna put a couple in, and they get a little bit darker when they get put on that darker cardstock. And let's put another one down here, right there. I'm gonna move this one a little bit. I gotta be careful because that's two-tone cardstock. It can tear pretty easily. Let's see, do I want to put it out there? No. I'm gonna put it down here. That's nice, just like that. All right, and let's put this up on dimensionals. And all we have to do is stamp something inside and we're good to go. But for the sake of time, we're just gonna go right from here and call it done. And there is a nice manly card. Even though it's got some gems, it's still very manly, very masculine, and with some definite interest on the back here. But another thing that you can do is involving an embossing folder. I'm going to take this piece right here, and I don't need that whole piece. I'm just going to need a little bit of it, so I'm going to cut it in half, half-ish. And now I'm going to bring in an embossing folder, and I figured I would use the Damask Designs here. Now, Damask Designs is not a 3D embossing folder. However, and you know, this technique works great, probably even a little better with the 3D embossing folders because they have a deeper impression, but still works fine just with this one. So Damask Designs is part of the Beautiful Gallery Suite. I'm using some Beautiful Gallery Suite products in my Clubhouse, and the last day to sign up for Clubhouse is tonight if you're watching this live. If you're not watching this live, I hope you signed up for it, so you'll have another idea of things that you can do with this set. I'm going to put the folded end in first. Because it is not a 3D, the sandwich is number 1 plate, number 3 plate, your folder with the paper, and then another number 3 plate. When I take this out, I'm going to hold it up a little bit closer. You can see a little bit of white, a little bit of that white core showing through, which gives it an interesting look. But what we want to do is make it even more interesting. I'm going to bring in a sanding block. You can get this in the beauty care aisle, wherever. You can just use ordinary sandpaper, but look at what happens when you sand it. It brings out that design even more. You know, one of the things I didn't notice in this design is that it's got little polka dots in between all of those designs. I didn't even see that in the folder itself. I'll have to look at that on here. Oh yeah, there's little dots in here. Look at that. All right, so I have this piece right here, and the more you sand, the more white shows through, but you don't want to sand too much because you don't want to sand it flat, right? All right, now let me get this piece out again. And I will be tearing, but first I'm going to just take my Secret C, and I'm going to take the large flower from Gallery Blooms. I debated using this one, but I think I like the large. I can't stop using this large one. It's so pretty. So let's see. Line this up, and we're just going to put this right here on the left edge. So pretty just in that color. It has such a romantic look to it, I think. Now I'm going to go ahead and practice that tearing technique again. I'm going to tear down. I want to keep that side with the flower, so I'm tearing the other part up. Okay, so I have something that looks just like that. Now, what color base do we put this on? Basic beige. Let's bring in some basic beige, because again, I think this has a bit of a romantic look to it. And if I just put this on here, look at, it's pretty lovely, I think. Now, some other colors that you might want to use instead of basic beige, if that's a little too dark, a little too off-whitish for you, is basic white. Come in here like this. I'm just going to build a card like that. So we'll put this piece on first. And then we're going to put this piece over the top. And one of the things that I like to do a lot is not get too close to the edge with my glue, because I'm going to rough it up a little bit. All right, now these two were cut the same length, so I just have to very carefully adjust it. There we go. Okay, so that's down like that. And then you can just kind of roll this up just a little bit. This gives a little bit more texture there. All right. And we need, of course, a sentiment. All right, I'm going to try. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it on this color or if I'd rather have white, but I'm going to take the light side of the Secret C and stamp this Forever Loved, Forever Remembered. Unfortunately, I do have a funeral. Oh, that's really low. Well, we're going to die cut it anyway, so it'll be fine. It just fits on there just right. Okay. I have a funeral to go to of a very, very dear friend. In about a month. It was delayed. He passed away in the winter, and so this will be the card for his widow and children. And let's see here. Make sure this is straight. I think I'm going to use 2 pieces to keep it where I want it to go. We'll die cut this. Okay, this is using the Countryside Corners dies, and those are on the last chance list. Oh yeah, that's really pretty together, I think. I think that's going to be a winner right there. So we're going to pop this up on dimensionals. And then because it is a sympathy card, I don't think I'm going to bling it up, but it would look nice with some of the, if it weren't a sympathy card, it would look nice with some of these very shiny in color flat pearls. The Secret Sea ones are hidden up here, but here are the cloud cover ones. Very, very pretty, very, very shiny. Let's go ahead and pop this up with dimensionals. Now, if you are interested in some of this two-tone paper and trying it out, anyone making a $40 or more purchase in my online store will qualify to receive each of the in colors, current and last year's. So you're going to get 10 different colors. Last year's colors are Petunia Pop, Peach Pie, Shy Shamrock, Pretty in Pink, and Summer Splash. And then this year's in colors, which are Secret Sea and Timid Tiger and Strawberry Slush, Darling Duckling, and Cloud Cover. And so you'll get each of those colors, but very, very pretty understated card. Lots of different techniques. We've got the tearing here. We've got showing both sides here. And we've got the sanding that makes this distressed look going on. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's projects. Now remember, you can get a taste of the two-tone cardstock simply by placing an order of $40 or more in my online store by this Sunday, Father's Day, 2025. You will receive a 4x6 inch sheet of each of the 10 current in colors. But if that's not enough of a taste for you, I do have a product share going on, and we're 1 month in, but you will just stagger it till I'll add 1 month on at the other end. If you would like to get in on this product share, it's $25 a month for 5 months, and over the course of those 5 months, you will receive 2 sheets each of the 53 in colors. That's 106 sheets of 12 by 12 two-tone cardstock. 2 sheets of every color. Just imagine what you can do with that. If you're interested, remember I only have a couple spots left, so please message me, stamperhood@gmail.com, and I will let you know if you've made the last couple spots and send you the details of how you can subscribe to that product share. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you've learned a little bit more about how to use the two-tone cardstock, and I hope you'll give it a try. It's really quite fun. Have a great rest of your week.